Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SJP Files Sports Report. I am your host, SJP, back at it again with another episode of the Sports Report. Now, sorry about that. Got a little something caught in my throat. Where was I? Yes. Kind of got distracted for a second. But last week, I wasn't having audio issues or anything, which is why the episode didn't come out. Which is not why the episode didn't come out. I was kind of feeling a little hampered by kind of the way I was doing the sports report, to the point where it just really wasn't doing it for me. So I took a week off and decided to kind of retool the podcasts in a way. So essentially what I'm going to start doing is more like traditional sports podcasts, mapping it out, doing my research. Now, normally I would just go with the power rankings and just the stories that interest me that day. We got a couple stories here today. We've got the retirement of Julian Edelman, the retirement of Lamarcus Aldrige. We have the injuries of Jamal Murray, injury to Donavan Mitchell, injury to James Wiseman. Steph Curry has been balling out the last month. He just been killing it. Julian Edelman, like I said, Julian Edelman retired. Is he a Hall of Famer? Is he not? Lamarcus Aldrige, is he a Hall of Famer or not? Those are the basic tenets of what today is going to go by. So we're going to start off real simple. We're going to start off with Julian Edelman. Is Julian Edelman an NFL Hall of Famer? And as a Patriots fan, and for those of you who do not know, I am a Patriots fan. I've been watching football my very first football game was the Super Bowl that the Patriots defeated the greatest show on turf. That, St. Louis Rams team, now the Los Angeles Rams, that Rams team with, Kurt Warner at quarterback, Marshall Faulk at running back. You had Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce at the wide receivers. They were the greatest, one of, if not the greatest offense the NFL had ever seen. And they came up against the Patriots, Bill Belichick in his very first Super Bowl, Tom Brady in his very first Super Bowl, Tom Brady. And I want to say his second or third year in the league. Drew Bledsoe had went down earlier that year, and Brady steps up, and he doesn't carry the team. He manages the game. This is the point. This is not the point where Tom Brady is, the greatest quarterback of all time. This is the point where Tom Brady is still learning. He's managing the game. He's just not making big mistakes, but he can still occasionally make big plays, which is what happened in that Super Bowl. Fourth quarter comeback, end of the game drive, stops. Patriots win their very first Super Bowl, first of Brady's 7. And as I said, the rest is history. 20 years later, Brady is he's the greatest quarterback of all time. So people have been wondering, I am a Patriots fan. I am a hardcore Patriots fan. I love the Patriots. I love what they've done this offseason. I very much like them getting Cam Newton back. Nice contract for him. I also very much enjoy I'm kind of tripped about how I want to admit it. As much as I love Cam Newton, as much as I love my New England Patriots, I do want to see the Patriots draft a quarterback. Now, the Patriots, I believe, have the 15th pick in the draft this year. Now, the first 3 picks will most likely be quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence is going 1. Now, 2 is where it gets interesting, because from what I'm sure you've all have heard, Zach Wilson will most likely go 2 to the Jets, which is once again the most Jets thing to do, because I think Justin Fields is without question the second best quarterback in this draft and should be the second overall pick, but he might not go second. He might not go third. I think 4th is Miami. So I believe Miami has, they'll probably take the tight end out of Florida, Pitts, I believe. And I'm okay with that. I think them getting Tua is the most prudent thing for them to do. it's without question Tua Tagovailoa is. Sorry about that. Tua Tagovailoa is the quarterback for the is the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. And no, Dolphins went back. Sorry about that. They swapped with somebody like the Philadelphia Eagles or some nonsense. But as of today, about 5 hours ago, I'm looking at a mock draft right now. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Zach Wilson, big mistake, to the Jets. Now, this mock draft has Justin Fields going to the 49ers, which is where he should go. But I'm sure you've heard a lot of it, that Mac Jones might be going here. I think Justin Fields would fit perfectly in San Francisco. I don't like San Francisco potentially taking Mac Jones over Justin Fields. I think that would be a mistake that haunts them forever. I truly believe that's going to be because I think Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, I think it's going to haunt the New York Jets as well, because I think Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are far and away the two best quarterbacks in this draft, and I think they're it. I think everybody else is kind of playing for third place. And I haven't really seen a lot of Zach Wilson, but that's the name we're all getting. Kyle Pitts, number 4, tight end out of Florida. Atlanta has the 4th pick. My bad. Atlanta has the 4th pick, so them taking Kyle Pitts, I like it. Getting Matt Ryan, another weapon, because they can't move off him. As far as I know, Matt Ryan is tied to them for at least the next 2 years, this year and next year. I believe his cap hit, if they cut him next year, is like $40 million, so they're not doing that. He's staying. Jamar Chase, number 5, to Cincinnati, getting Joe Burrow some weapons out there in Cincinnati, doing well on them. And Miami, Penny Swell, offensive lineman, once again, getting Tua some help. Number 7, Trey Lance to the Denver Broncos. The Broncos have arguably, I believe, the worst depth chart in professional football. Their quarterback situation is ridiculous. I think they got Drew Lock and like 2 other guys whose names I'm not even going to pretend. And Panthers at number 8, getting an offensive lineman to protect Sam Darnold. You got Devontae Smith going to a mock trade with the Denver Broncos at number 9. And at number 7, Broncos moving up to 7 to take Trey Lance, and the Lions moving back to 9 and taking Devontae Smith. I don't know about that. You got Patrick Surtain, Dallas Cowboys, they're probably taking him. I think he'll be there at 10. Now at 11, now here's the question. If Mac Jones falls to 11, I could see maybe the Patriots moving up from 15 to taking him. I could see that. If instead of Mac Jones, this is Justin Fields, and for some reason, Justin Fields is like 5th on I can't remember who it was. I forgot the guy's name, but he was like 5th on somebody's board of quarterbacks. He's like the 5th rated quarterback, and I don't understand that. And if by some miracle, because I'm not so sure about Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones would be great for Bill, because I think Mac Jones is I think he could be a solid start. I think he's got the mind. He doesn't have the physicality. I think he'd be somewhere akin to like an early version of Tom Brady when they first started winning their 3 Super Bowls. So that's where Mac Jones would probably fit in. But if Mac Jones gets picked up by the 49ers and the Broncos, who desperately need a quarterback, take Trey Lance over Justin Fields, if Justin Fields falls outside of the top 10, if he falls to like 11, I think the Patriots will move up to take him, because I don't think they can move up, because I think they would have to move up ahead of the Broncos to take him, because if he falls to 8, I think if he falls to 7 or 8, I think the Patriots might move up to get him. And to do that, they'd have to give up this year's number 1, a number 1 next year, maybe a number 2 or 3 to move up to like 7 or 8 to get Justin Fields. But if he falls outside of the top 5, I think the Patriots could, and most likely, I would say would move up to get him, because I think, like I said, I think he's the second best quarterback in this draft. I think anybody not taking him, unless you have the number 1 overall pick, they're taking Trevor Lawrence. He's been the top of his class since he was like a junior in high school. End all be all. But for the Jets, the 49ers, the Broncos, anyone in the top 5 who needs a quarterback and doesn't take Justin Fields is making a huge mistake. I think it's a mistake that's going to haunt you for 10 years. And if you mess around and let Bill Belichick get a hold of Justin Fields, you're going to have about another 10 years of damn near uninterrupted greatness. You let Justin Fields go to New England with Bill Belichick. My God, you ain't seen shit. Let Justin Fields go to New England. And you're going to go from Tom Brady, short intermission of Cam Newton, and then I think Cam will start this year. They'll let Justin Fields sit for a year behind Cam Newton, pick up the Patriots offense. He'll start next year. Maybe Cam has revitalized his career and he'll go somewhere else. But Justin Fields will start next year, and you will have essentially 2 years of an interruption where you go from Brady to, you had Brady, then you had Castle in there, and you had Garoppolo. You had Jimmy G in there, and then you move on and you get Cam Newton for a couple years, and then you go on to Justin Fields for 10 years, for 10, 15 years of uninterrupted greatness, add in maybe a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowls to that. And if that happens, you think Patriots fans are inseparable now. You ain't seen shit, because I'm going to be wilding out here if Justin Fields winds up in New England. I'm going to be wilding out here. Now, the draft takes place, I believe it's on the 29th, so not next week, but the week after. Yeah, Thursday the 29th. So not next Thursday, but the week after that, and ends on Saturday, March 1st. Say March 1st, I meant May 1st. My bad. Anyway, that's enough of the draft. Let's get back to what we were really talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer? Short answer, no. He is not a Hall of Famer. This is coming from a Patriots fan. He's not a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. My guy, he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not. Julian Edelman, 75th all-time in catches, 157th all-time in receiving yards. His touchdown ratings, they don't even have that on Pro Football Reference. He is so far down that his number is not even there. But like I said, he's 150, my bad. Yeah, 156. Not 150, 156 in yards behind Charlie Hennigan and Odell Beckham Jr., who is like 6 years his junior. Odell Beckham's only played in the NFL for 6 years. And Julian Edelman has been in the NFL for 11 years. 11 years, 6,000 yards. He's not going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I know he's got wild Super Bowl stats. He's got wild playoff stats. He's second all time with 600 yard playoff games, just behind Jerry Rice, who's got 8. He did it in 19 games. Jerry Rice did 8 in 29 games. He's got the 5th most catches in Super Bowl history and the 4th most receiving yards in Super Bowl history. He's got the 2nd most receptions in playoff history, 2nd most yards in playoff history, both behind Jerry Rice. I mean, what do you want? What do you want? I mean, I love him, but I would actually, he's not, is he 5th? Yes, he's 5th, tied with Deion Branch with 24 catches. Wes Welker, once again, if you're putting in You got to put, if you're putting in Julian Edelman, you got to put in Wes Welker. And Wes Welker has been, hold on. Let me see Wes. Yeah, Wes Welker's been retired for 5 years. Wes Welker, retired for 5 years, played 11 years. Career, 903 receptions, 9,924 yards. 2-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. 50 touchdowns. Edelman's got 36. Welker has, if Edelman goes to the Hall of Fame, Welker has to too. And I know Welker doesn't have any rings. He played in that Patriots era when he didn't have any rings. When they, in that 10-year period where the Patriots didn't win any championships. But if Welker goes in, let's see, where was it? 9,924 yards. So if he goes in, you have to put. You got to put Welker in. You just have to. Sorry. What do you want? And I love my guy. Wes Welker, 51st. One of the best, actually, arguably the best slot wide receiver in NFL history. Wes Welker. If Edelman goes in, Wes has to go in. If Edelman goes in, Wes Welker has to go in. And I think, but I don't even know if he's never made an All-Pro team, never made a Pro Bowl. And when it comes to football, I don't really care about Pro Bowls. I don't really care about Pro Bowls. What matters to me in football are all pros. I need to know that you are one of, if not the best at your position for a period of time. And if it's just one year, you just have one of those blow up years, okay. But look at the list of, man, I'm going to start, jumping at some of the guys ahead of him. You got Ahmad Rashad, Jeremy Maclin, Gene Washington, Brandon Cooks. Is Brandon Cooks a Hall of Famer? Because Brandon Cooks got better numbers. Nate Washington, Jake Reed, Jarvis Landry has better numbers. Is Jarvis Landry a Hall of Famer? Yo, I know his playoff stats are wild. 118 receptions in the playoffs. That's second all time behind Jerry. 1,400 yards, second behind Jerry. 5 touchdowns. Not a lot on that list. But I mean, and he plays well in big games. But he does not have the regular season stats to warrant putting him in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't. I'm sorry. You can't put him in. It's the Hall of Fame. Not the Hall of Very Good. It's the Hall of Fame. He was never the best at his position for any length of time in the NFL. He wasn't at the best or one of the best, so you can't put him in. I love Julian Edelman. Like I said, I am a Patriots fan, been a Patriots fan for as long as I can remember. I can't remember. I didn't watch football before I became a Patriots fan, but he's not going to the Hall of Fame. So stop it. He's not. He's got 3 rings. Awesome. Take the 3 rings. He can induct him into the Patriots Ring of Honor. He's not going to the finals. He's not going to the Super Bowl. That's not happening. Can't let that happen. That cannot be allowed to happen. Him going to the finals. No. Patriots Ring of Honor. Patriots Hall of Famer. He's not an NFL Hall of Famer. He's not getting that gold jacket. That's not going to happen. So please stop. Edelman has made, trying to see how much he's made in his career with the New England Patriots. His career earnings period. So I believe total 12 seasons. Like I said, 12 seasons. He's made about $43 million in cash total. He made $17 million in salary, 17 in signing bonus, 2 in roster bonus, 1 in workout bonus, 4 in incentives. Total cash about $43 million. Congratulations to my guy, but you are not a Hall of Famer. Love you, not a Hall of Famer. Now, with that being said, another retirement that took place was Lamarcus Aldrige, who after playing a game felt, his heart kind of tighten up and beat very, very fast and chose to retire. Took his health over basketball, which I applaud him for. Shout out to the guy. I'm a fan of Lamarcus Aldrige. I like him. I thought he should have stayed in Portland. I think if he had stayed in Portland, him and Dame and CJ, they could have built something special there. Maybe even a championship, something special, because Lamarcus Aldrige has always been a guy who's been relatively healthy his entire career. I mean, his first year, he played 63 games. His second year, he played 76, then 81, then 78, 81. He had an injury, and then 74, 69. He's a guy who plays essentially about 75 games a year, give or take. Pretty healthy guy. Unlike Jusuf Nurkic, who is always hurt. But another question, is Lamarcus Aldrige a Hall of Famer? Career score average, 19.4 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 20 PER. Win shares, let's see, 112.6. Is he a Hall of Famer? I don't know. I think he's borderline. 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA. Oh, sorry, excuse me. But I think he's borderline. I think he is a borderline All-Star. Borderline Hall of Famer. I would have said the same thing about Chris Webber. I would have said the same thing about Tracy McGrady. Although McGrady's stats were out of this world, his regular season stats warranted a Hall of Fame, but his playoff, or lack thereof, success made it hard for me to make him a no-doubt first ballot Hall of Famer. But I didn't mind him getting into the Hall of Fame. Lamarcus Aldrige, he was in the 2006 draft class. I'm trying to find it. This was not a great draft class. Start off from the top, because there aren't a lot of guys in this draft class that you can go and say, wow, no. Andrea Bargnani, he played 10 years, amassed some points. He was a good, solid player. Lamarcus Aldrige went number 2 overall to Chicago. Never played there. Got traded to Portland. Adam Morrison got drafted by Charlotte. That's one of those Michael Jordan picks that lives in infamy. You had Tyrese Thomas, who played 8 years himself. Not another great pick. Sheldon Williams, he played 6 years. Brandon Roy was fantastic. He got drafted by Minnesota, but once again, he ended up in. But Brandon Roy, oh my God. He was a 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA in the 6 years he played. He was a fantastic player. He had to retire because, man, his knees just gave out on him. The cartilage in his knees it became like sandpaper. He had no cartilage left in his knees, and and his body just couldn't keep up. But he had some great seasons. His third and fourth season, both over 20 points a game. This was before the NBA, offenses exploded. But Brandon Roy was such a special player, and it's a shame that he didn't get the shine, because I think if his career had lasted 10 years, I think he would have been a no doubt Hall of Famer. I think he would have been a Hall of Famer, no doubt. But I don't think he's gonna get in because of that. Like I said, Brandon Roy in this draft class. Rudy Gay still playing solid. Randy Foye went number 7. Rudy Gay went number 8. So Rudy Gay is a guy I'm sure you've all heard of. JJ Redick went number 11 to Orlando. Thabo Cephalosha, I'm sure you guys have heard of her, went 13 to Philly. After that, there's a bunch of players who you didn't hear. Rajon Rondo went 21 in this draft. Rajon Rondo, probably a Hall of Famer in his own right. I think he's a Hall of Famer without question. Kyle Lowry, Hall of Famer, champion. That's pretty much everyone in the first round. I mean, you had like Shannon Brown and Jordan Farmar, but like I said, he ain't really do nothing in the NBA like that. In the second round, PJ Tucker, steal at that pick, number 35 to Toronto. But after that, Paul Millsap, 47 to Utah. He's definitely stacked up enough numbers, I think he's put himself in a position to be a borderliner. I don't think he'll get in, but he might be a borderline guy. But that's pretty much it. Everybody else from this draft is nobody. Let's see. You got 1, Paul Millsap, 2, PJ Tucker, 3, Kyle Lowry, 4, Rajon Rondo. I would say 5, Thabo Cephalosha, 6, JJ Redick, 7, Rudy Gay, 8, Brandon Roy, 9, Lamarcus Aldridge, and maybe 10, Andrea Barnier. So yeah, I think you had 10 good players out of this draft. You didn't have any all-timers. So I think it's a good year for them. Solid year. Solid draft class. He came in with a solid group of guys. No superstars, but a lot of good players. I think Brandon Roy was a superstar. Brandon Roy was a super. And imagine if Brandon Roy had been around there when they drafted CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. But, after Dame kind of came on the scene, Lamarcus Aldrige, he took his talents after, I want to say, what is it? 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Was it about 9 years in Portland? Went to San Antonio, and he tried to do the thing with Kawhi Leonard, and it just didn't work. So Lamarcus Aldridge has retired. Borderline Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Borderline, great player. Borderline Hall of Famer. I don't know if he'll get in. I really don't know if he'll get in. But just look at this, like the roster from this year, the 06-07 roster for the Portland Trailblazers. You had Lamarcus Aldridge, Zach Randolph, Brandon Roy, Travis Outlaw, Rafer Friends, Jarrett Jack, Fred Jones. This wasn't a great team. This was a good team. Good young team. I think they could have been. I think if Brandon Roy had stayed healthy and Lamarcus Aldridge had stayed healthy, and maybe they drafted CJ or Dame or whatever down the line, I think this could have been a very, very special team. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. We're going to hear a word from our sponsor, and then we'll be back to talk about Steph Curry's just outright domination of the NBA, reminding everybody just who in the hell he actually is.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is SJP, the host of the SJP Files. Have you heard about Anchor? If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Once again, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Finally got my stride again. I'm feeling good. Just doing it. I love this show. I love doing this. It's something that I've been thinking about for a while now. But said it before on my first episode. I've been thinking about doing this show forever. But I love doing this. I love kind of talking to sports. I would love to have a co-host, honestly, to bounce stuff off of. I think we'd have a dope show. But as of right now, I'm going to do this on my own for right now. Maybe find a co-host as the viewership gets a little bit bigger. But as of right now, once again, you know the drill. We talking sports. I am your host, SJP. And shout out to the people the faithful listeners of the show. Once again, help the show out. You know, if you're listening on a platform like Spreaker or Google Podcasts or Spotify, drop a like, drop some comments. Let me know how you feel about my show. Let me know what you think I can do to improve upon this show. Let me know what topics I missed that you would like me to hit. But with that being said, let's get back to the sports report. Where we left off is I was just talking about Lamarcus Aldrige retiring. You know, shout out, retiring from my Brooklyn Nets. Good God. But the Nets are still OP as hell. Everything's just bumping. Lamarcus Aldrige has made a cool $200 million in his career. So I think he's fine. I think he'll be fine. That's off the court. That's on the court. Not to mention whatever the hell he's made off the court. I think he'll be fine. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about one man in particular. Steph Curry. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Steph Curry. The NBA's greatest shooter. The greatest shooter in the history of the game. Steph Curry has been on a tear for the better part of a month. Actually, not a month. About the last 2-3, better part of this month. Let me list you the stats of Steph Curry in the month of April. The first against the Miami Heat, 36 points. The fourth against the Atlanta Hawks, 37 points. The sixth against the Milwaukee Bucks, 41 points. 3 days later against the Washington Wizards, 32 points. A day later against the Houston Rockets, 38 points. 2 days later, 53 against Denver, 42 against Oklahoma City, and 33 against Cleveland. They've won their last 4 games. They won 5 of their last 6. Steph Curry is reminding everyone in the NBA just who in the hell he actually is. For the month of April, he is averaging 39 points, 6.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 92% from the free throw line. Is averaging about 9 free throws a game, 47%. Actually, you round up, it's 48% from the 3-point line on 13 3-pointers per game. 56% from the field on 22 shots in 35 minutes. What more can you say? What more can you say about Steph Curry? He is someone who has... Steph Curry has just... He's got... It's honestly... He's never going to have the raw counting stats in his career that guys like LeBron James or Kevin Durant or James Harden or Damian Lillard might have, because he had a lot of injuries early in his career, a lot of ankle injuries, and yeah, he played a lot of games, but there was a season where he only played 26 games, a lot of ankle injuries. But Steph has just a level of he's got 3 championships. His first championship was in 2015. Then another one in 2017, and then another one in 2018. He should have an MVP. He should have a finals MVP for that first one. The MVP going to Andre Iguodala was kind of a robbery. It was kind of a robbery. I would say that. I know a lot of people say I would say that. I would say he should have got that Finals MVP, that first one. But I think that's one of those things that's kind of going to be, I don't want to say a stain on his career, but it's going to be one of those things that people use against him when you're talking about the all-time great list. I know, I can't remember, I think it was Hoops Reference on Twitter who asked, the Twitter faithful, where Steph Curry is in your top of all time. And honestly, I would put him somewhere like 15 to 20. His all-time, he changed the game so much. He didn't just change the game for guys at his position. He changed the game for everyone. He changed the game for every player in the league. Now, you can't play in this league and not be able to shoot. You just can't do it. You can't. You cannot play in this game and not be able to shoot nowadays, with the exception of guys like, who are just physical specimens like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Ben Simmons. Aside from that, if you want to play in this league, you got to be able to shoot. And that's because of Steph Curry. He completely changed the game in a way no other player, I don't think any other player has changed the on-court game as much as Steph has. Not even Jordan. I don't even think Jordan changed the game as much as Steph has. I think Jordan changed, the way Jordan changed the game was off the court with the endorsements. I think that's the way Jordan changed the game the most. LeBron changed the game the most with how players move, how people go from team to team to team, how you're not stuck in a singular place for the entirety of your career. I think that's what LeBron did most for players. Steph did it on the court. He stretched that thing out and told everybody, man, I'm going to pull up from 30, and about 4 out of 10 times it's going in. Actually, not even about 4. Actually, it's not even 4 out of 10 times. I think if you do the statistics correct, it's like 6 out of 10 times. It's going in. You could cover me, you could not cover me. You leave me open, it's going in. You leave me open, it's going in. That is just fact. Handles. One of the greatest ball handlers in history. I would probably put him third on my list behind Kyrie and Iverson. Steph, the baby-faced assassin. Chef Curry. He is the chef. Cooking for the last month. And once again, reminding everyone just who in the hell he is. He's got the Golden State Warriors in the play-in tournament. I thought they'd be better. I'm not going to lie. If you listened to my Western Conference breakdown at the beginning of the season, I thought the Golden State Warriors would be a hell of a lot better than they are right now. But that's not his fault. He's balling out. Draymond Green didn't start the season. He started the season late. Kelly Oubre Jr. hasn't really been able to find his shot all year. James Wiseman's a rookie and is still, getting down the offense, which is gonna be hampered because of the fact that he blew his knee out. And Andrew Wiggins is Andrew Wiggins. So Steph Curry trying to drag this team to the NBA playoffs. And I would like to say this to Chef. This is what I would like to say to Chef Curry. Stop. You are going to break your back carrying these bums. All right? Wait until Klay Thompson gets back. Find a way. Get rid of Wiggins. Get rid of Oubre. Get rid of Wiseman. First of all, you should have drafted LaMelo Ball. Play it right now. You should have drafted LaMelo Ball. I know LaMelo Ball is out with like a fractured hand, but you should have drafted LaMelo. LaMelo's the guy that should have been drafted. I think that would have been best for you and everybody else. But you didn't. But get rid of Wiseman. Not Wiseman. Get rid of Wiggins. Get rid of Oubre Jr. Get them out of here. Find a way to trade for somebody. Get somebody in there. Because Klay Thompson is coming back from a knee injury and an Achilles injury. I have no idea what he's going to be. He's not going to be the premier perimeter defender he's always been. That's not going to happen. He's not going to be that guy anymore. He's just not. He's physically not going to be able to do that. But man, his game is on point. He's the greatest he's the greatest shooter ever. And if you want to go with stats wise, I mean, look at it. NBA, he's got the second most 3-pointers ever made already. Second most 3-pointers ever made, and he's only been in the league 11 years. He's been in the league 11 years. From 2010 to 2021, this year is his 11th year. And he's gonna crush the 3-point record. He's gonna crush it. He's going to absolutely crush the 3-point record. He's second all time. I want to say he's about 200. Looks like he's a little over 200 behind Ray Allen. And he's going to demolish this record. So is James Harden. James Harden's going to crush this record too. So is Dame. Because Ray Allen's at 2,900. Got James Harden, who's at 24. Steph's at 2,700. Yeah, Steph's at 27. Harden's at 2,400. Damian Lillard's at 1,900. Almost 2,000. LeBron James is at 1,900. These guys going to crush this record. Steph, I think Steph's going to add, because you can always use a shooter. I think Steph's going to add probably another 1,000 to this record. So, I mean, he's going to put himself far and away as he's the greatest shooter of all time. He's second in makes, fifth in attempts. He's probably got he might even have the best 3-point percentage in history. I want to say the 3-point, I'm pretty sure he's got to be up there. Yeah, he's 6th, tied with Jason Capono. His brother Seth is at 5th. Joe Harris is at 3rd. Hubert Davis is 2nd, and Steve Kerr is 1st. He's the greatest shooter of all time. Yeah, you got your boy Klay Thompson at 14th. Duncan Robinson at 13th. He's the greatest shooter ever. Klay is probably 2nd or 3rd on that list. I don't know if Klay is the 2nd greatest shooter ever. I don't know if I can co-sign that, because I'm looking at this list. And I know Klay Thompson's 20th on this list, but I'm looking on this list, man. Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Kyle Korver. Vince Carter's not the great. I know Vince Carter. I did not know Vince Carter had made that many 3, but Jason Terry, Dirk Nowitzki, JJ Redick, J.R. Smith. I know LeBron's been adding on to his 3-point resume since Steph, changed the game. Kevin Durant at 27th. I don't know if I can co-sign Klay Thompson being the 2nd greatest shooter ever. I still got to give that to Ray and Reggie. But Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, and he has spent the entire season reminding the entirety of the NBA, this is me. This is who I am. I'm the best player I'm the best shooter of all fucking time. I'm one of the 5 to 10 greatest players ever. I'm one of the 20 greatest players to ever play this game. I'm one of the 5 to 10 greatest players playing the game right now. Definitely, probably top 5. He's in the top 5 playing the game right now, because let's see. LeBron, Embiid, Durant, Harden, Anthony Davis, Steph Curry. Because I got to put Anthony Davis hasn't played that much this year, so I got to put Steph above Anthony Davis. James Harden's balling out in Brooklyn, so I can't do that to him. Kevin Durant, I haven't seen Kevin Durant in the playoffs yet, so we're gonna hold our judgment on Kevin Durant. But bruh, Steph's killing it. And he deserves, and he's not going to get MVP consideration because his team's not going to win enough games. But he's on another level right now. Now, with that being said, let's talk injury report. We had 3 big injuries over the last week or so. About the last 2 weeks or so. James Wiseman is going to miss the rest of the year with a knee surgery. He tore his right meniscus on Thursday, not this Thursday, last Thursday. He's going to miss the rest of the season. He was averaging about 11 points, 6 rebounds, 1 block in his first 39 games as a rookie. Still say they should have took. He missed time early in the season due to a wrist injury. Still should have took LaMelo Ball. All I gotta say, still should have took Melo. Still should have took LaMelo. But that's not. But we don't stop right there. I like James Wiseman. I think he can be a special player. But the Golden State Warriors cannot wait for him to develop. And his development is going to be further hampered by his injuries. So as much as I like him, they're probably going to need to trade him. And I think them not using the second overall pick paired with Andrew Wiggins to try to get something that can help them win now is something that I think that could come back to bite them in the ass, because you don't know. Because Draymond is past his prime, and you don't know what you're going to get from Klay when he comes back. So I think that was a big move for them. Jamal Murray is out indefinitely with a torn ACL in his left knee. Suffered non-contact injury in that game against the Warriors. It was in the last 40 seconds of the game. It was a close game. I think I'm pretty sure the Warriors ended up winning that game. But still, man, he is gone most likely for the rest of the year. He could be gone for the rest of the year, and even if he's not gone for the rest of the year, he's on another level. And he was playing fantastic basketball. He was playing fantastic basketball. As of late. His last 7 games. Yeah, he had 17 points against the Warriors. I mean, he was playing very, very well as of late, kind of stepping up to that, kind of stepping up to that Jamal Murray play that he had not in the regular season, in the bubble last year. But his injury is essentially, I know the Denver Nuggets are 4th in the Western Conference right now. I know they've been steadily moving up as the Lakers have been moving down due to injuries. But Lakers, Anthony Davis cleared for practice, so he's probably going to be back, I would say, either sometime this week or sometime, I'd probably say he might be up for at the end of the week, like next Friday. At the end of the week, he might be back on the court hooping. But the Denver Nuggets, I think them losing Jamal Murray completely knocks them out of championship contention. I don't think they can't win a championship without Jamal Murray. And with the Lakers in the 5th spot, with Anthony Davis on his way back, LeBron James may be a week or 2 behind. If the LA Lakers can hold on to that 5th spot, if they can hold on tight, because the Trailblazers are pretty much in the same position as the Lakers. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games. So if the Lakers can kind of hold that 5th position until the end of the season, stay in that 4-5 matchup, which is very plausible right now. Because right now I'm watching them crush. They're not crushing. Playing a very tough game against the Utah Jazz. Ooh, looks like KCP went down with an injury. But, it looked like KCP went down for an injury. It might have been a strain or a sprain on that calf muscle. It might look like me a strain on that calf muscle. Looked like he landed wrong. But where was I? The Lakers are beating up on the Utah Jazz in overtime right now. Looks like they're up 124 to 115. Looks like they're going to win this game with about a minute left. So congratulations to them. Put another game up. Put like a half game up against them in Portland. So that's about 2 games up on Portland, which would be great for them. But if they can hang into that 5th spot, if they can truly hang into the 5th spot of the power rankings of the NBA standings, I think it'll be fantastic for them because they're because them and the Nuggets aren't healthy. The Lakers aren't healthy. If the Lakers can get healthy, they can use this series to kind of really like solidify themselves, get their chemistry back up. And in the Western Conference semifinals, if they beat the Nuggets, you wind up with the Lakers and the Jazz. And I think they can beat the Jazz, no question, with or without Donovan Mitchell. I know Donovan Mitchell's got an ankle sprain. It doesn't look like it's that serious. He's going to miss some time. But whether it's Donovan Mitchell... So if I'm the Lakers, I don't want 6. Because in 6, you got to play the Clippers. And I want to play the Clippers in the first round right now. I want to avoid the Clippers in the first round. That is not where I want to see the Clippers. I'd rather see the Clippers in the conference finals. And which I don't think they'll get past Phoenix, honestly. Because Phoenix, once again, they're balling out of their minds too. With the injury to Donovan Mitchell, the Phoenix Suns will most likely pop up to the number 1 overall spot in the Western Conference playoffs. And I think that'll be how your playoffs essentially knock out. Because I think the Phoenix Suns, I don't know if the Clippers have enough games to get that number 2 spot. But I think Phoenix Suns will wind up at number 1. The Utah Jazz will probably fall to number 2. The Clippers at number 3. The Nuggets at 4. The Lakers at 5. The Trailblazers at 6. You have the Mavericks making the playoffs because I think they're going to get to the playoff game. So their injuries are kind of wild. Like Donovan Mitchell, he's going to miss like several. He's going to miss some games, but he looks okay. He's okay. He's fine. His injury was kind of like a soft tissue injury, essentially. No structural damage whatsoever. He's going to miss probably a week, maybe 2. He's going to miss like a week or 2, but he'll be fine. That being said, the NBA is winding down the stretch. I think they're like less. I know they're less than 20 games. I think they're like 50. I think most teams have somewhere around like 15 games left in the regular season. So if the Lakers could use the last 10 games or so to get LeBron James and AD kind of back into rhythm with this team, because they have a similar problem to what the Nets have. Although I trust LeBron James more than I trust the Nets stars, they have a similar issue. They haven't played together that much this year. Anthony Davis got hurt early in the year. Dennis Schroeder's new to the team. Andre Drummond's new to the team. What's his name? Dude with the dreads, Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell is new to the team. So I know LeBron has had a chance to gel with them, but I don't think AD's had a real chance to gel with them. And they still got Drummond back, who's going to be a big piece of their offense and defense. Still have the best defense in the NBA. The Nets still kind of struggling on defense. But with Donovan Mitchell's injury, I think this is a wide open chance for the Suns to move up in the power rankings. And whether, to me, it doesn't really matter because I think the Lakers are going to kind of hit the playoffs kind of at the right time, healthy, ready to go. And I think they're going to do what they did last year. I think they're going to do what they did last year. And I think they're going to crush every single team they come across. And I want it to be the Clippers in the conference finals. I want it to be an all LA conference finals because I'm tired of hearing these bums out here talking about, man, the Clippers this, the Clippers that, the Clippers this, the Clippers that. I need to see it. I will not believe in the Clippers until I see it. And in the Eastern Conference, the Nets, I need them to play defense. Not situational defense, actual defense. Because Joel Embiid was giving them the business. Drop 40. Joel Embiid was giving them the business. And I know Kyrie Irving didn't play. Not Kyrie. I know Kevin Durant didn't. No. Yeah, I know Kevin Durant didn't play. But still, Joel Embiid gave you the business. So I'm going to need you to stop that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this week's episode of the SJP Files. I'm your host, SJP, back at it again. This has been a very fun episode for me. I very much like doing this episode. Like I said, I'm going to be structuring my episodes similar to this rather than just jumping into the power rankings like I normally do every week. So these episodes, normally I record the episode and then put it up. But in this case, what I'm essentially going to do is I'm recording the episodes putting them up on saving them and then publishing them at a later date. Most likely this episode is being recorded on Saturday, as you can probably tell from me watching the Lakers Jazz game, but this episode will most likely probably go up Monday. This episode will probably go up Monday after I do some work on it. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, SJP. You can find the SJP Files pretty much wherever you find podcasts. You can find it on Anchor, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Find it on a bunch of other platforms. iHeartRadio. Shout out to iHeart. I know my show was on iHeart, but shout out to iHeart. Once again, drop a like, subscribe. Subscribe. Let me know. You can find me at the SJP Files at gmail.com, or you can find me on Twitter at the SJP Files. You can find me on YouTube at the SJP Chronicles, where I'll be putting up clips of my shows, which is essentially one of the things I've been working on this week. Clips are going to start going up probably later this week. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I'm your host, SJP. This is the SJP Files Sports Report, and we will see you again next week.